Delighted to be joined by Thomas O'Toole here today. Firstly, I'm going to ask you, Thomas, I want you to explain about everything about your amateur career and kind of how you've got to where you are now.
Oh yeah, so I started boxing when I was, I can't remember, was it 12 or 13? Started in a rural place in west of Galway, Connemara. Started in Connemara Boxing Club, and yeah, I was there for a few years. Had some bad injuries. Nothing really took off for me in the first few years of my amateur career. Kind of then when I was 17, 18, I started college in the city, and yeah, I started training then with Celtic Eagles Boxing Club in Galway City, and yeah, it took on from there. Between my studies and my training, I started winning national titles and box cups and stuff like that, and became Irish number one in 2019. And then COVID came, obviously, so Ireland was probably one of the main countries to be locked down for. I don't know how long they were locked down for, but there was no boxing or anything happening. So it would help me focus on my degree. I got that out of the way, and then when I finished that, I decided to go professional, and that's when I reached out to people over in Boston, and I made the jump.
Brilliant. I want to ask you just quickly, how big is boxing in Ireland? Like, is it one of the biggest, like probably one of the biggest sports? Like, how big is it in Ireland?
It's huge. I say it'd be one of the biggest sports. GAA would probably be our biggest, but boxing on an international level is our most successful, at an amateur level as well. Every year you have boxers winning medals at Europeans, Worlds, box cups, and stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's huge, and a lot of the Olympic years are very successful too. Like, I think it's a sport Ireland's won the most medals in. It was boxing, and it's starting to develop more at a professional level. I can see I have my homecoming now in March. There's a lot more shows going on regularly in Ireland. So yeah, it's good. Boxing is booming in Ireland. Yeah.
I'll go on to the homecoming soon. I just want to ask you kind of what made you make the decision to go pro and how come you wanted to move pro at that time?
Uh, I think the biggest thing was the Olympics were on that summer. I finished my degree, and I kind of put boxing on the back burner to finish my degree. I was continuously training and competing, but my main focus was getting my degree. So I kind of got that, and I said I had no interest in boxing as an amateur. I was kind of at a stage there where I was like, do I go with a career with my degree or do I pursue boxing? And I was like, well, if I pursue boxing, I'm not staying as an amateur and waiting another 4 years for a potential another Olympics. So I said, you know what? I'll give the boxing a go and I'll go professional. That was I always had kind of an ambition to go professional. So I made that decision after I got my degree, and yeah, 2.5 years later, we're here.
What kind of made you make that decision to move to Boston, moving away from home? I bet it is tough. What made you make that decision? Is it someone you knew in Boston? How did that come about?
So I always had the privilege of being able to come out here. I have the citizenship, so it was very handy for me. Uh, and I knew boxing in America is, that's where it's at. In England it's very good as well. And I said to myself, do you know what, I wanted to kind of come over to America for a while, so I said I'll try the boxing there. Now for the first year and a half, I did stay in Ireland with my coach, and I was flying back and forth. And it was only in April I decided to move out here to pursue it more. Yeah, so.
I want to talk about that moment there with when you went onto the zone and you got the knockout. I just want you to explain your feelings and thoughts on being on such a big card as well, fighting on the zone, which is worldwide. What was that experience like, and to get the knockout as well?
Oh, it was amazing. It was one of those fights like when I won my elite title as an amateur. Like that was on television as well, and it was kind of, I didn't feel any pressure. I absorbed the atmosphere and I loved it. Like I tell you, even the DAZN fight was just one of those fights where I was just in my element. Warming up everything. I was just so calm and collected, and I enjoyed the whole process. It was amazing. The stadium wasn't full when I fought, all right, but I got a good knockout and nearly surprised myself a bit, but I got that, and then it went viral. Like I know I kind of left the phone down for the evening. It was hopping, like, and I woke up the next day. I think like my social medias, I had gotten like thousands of new followers, and my knockout was shared like worldwide. I think there was a couple of million views on the knockout, so it was amazing. It got really good feedback, so yeah, that was a great night in my career. All right.
Did you get a chance to meet Eddie Hearn and speak to him?
Yeah, I didn't chat to him after the fight. I funny enough, met him before the fight, and of course he hadn't a clue who I was. I was just this Irish kid who got a chance on an Irish undercard, kind of, and I went up to him and said, "Hey, can I get a picture?" And I was taking a picture, and I said, "You don't know me yet, but Friday night you will." I said, "We were fighting on a Friday," and he said, "Oh, okay, I look forward to it." And yeah, then he was talking about me a bit after, so it worked.
Brilliant. I know that Katie Taylor's returning at home a lot at the minute, fighting at home. Is that one of the aims, probably over the next couple of years, to fight on one of them cards as well? I know that's talk about Croke Park. Is that the aim? I'm guessing to hopefully get on one of them as well.
Yeah, it'd be great to fight on one of them because like the whole country watches it. Now you want every Irish fighter wants to get on that card, but I'm delighted now to be, fighting at home next month, and then maybe I'll have my own big show in Ireland in a few years. That could be the goal. But I'm enjoying fighting out here as well. Like Boston is as much Irish as Ireland is. Like it's crazy. Like the amount of people that come out to support me when I'm fighting, it's unbelievable. Like there's so many Irish out here. So even big fights out here, I want them too. So yeah, Crow Park. That would be, if it happens, it'd be a great one, and one I definitely maybe try and get on. Yeah.
Speaking of big fights coming up, the homecoming for yourself, how excited are you to return home, see familiar faces, and like you said, headline as well? Because you are headlining, aren't you, on a
Yeah.
big card at home?
Oh, I'm buzzing. Like I have so many friends and family that wanted to watch me fight for ages, like, and haven't been able, obviously, because they can't all fly out here, like, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. It'll be a good night. It's one of those nights where it's nothing to do with business. It's all about pride, like, to be able to go home and fight in front of my people. It's gonna be good, like, so I'm training as hard as I've ever trained before for this one. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
What's it like? What will it be like? Do you feel like you'll have more pressure on you going home and fighting rather than obviously fighting in Boston?
Yeah, yeah. There will be a bit more pressure. There might be a little expectation, but I try and just brush it off a bit because from where I started as a little kid, I was a little fat kid who first went into the gym like with a bunch of others, and you would have never thought I would have done anything. So to have been done what I did as an amateur, and to be headlining in Galway City, like it's something I wouldn't have even seen for myself. Now obviously I see better things coming in the future, but when I was younger I didn't see it. So I'm just kind of taking my stride and gonna make sure whatever happens I enjoy the experience. Do you know what I mean? Because these are memories for when I retired.
Definitely. I just want to ask as well about some of the people you've sparred as well, and some of the people that you maybe fought in the amateurs. Did you fight any people of note that have gone on to do good things in pro boxing?
So my last fight as an amateur was in the national elite final, and my opponent went on then to qualify for the Olympics. Actually, so. And I lost on a split decision that night, and he went on to qualify for the Olympics. So yeah, that was one. I fought the Norwegian number one in a box cup over in London. Harrogate Box Cup is in Alexandra Palace. That was a great tournament. It was 3 fights in 3 days, and I met him in the final, and that was a good tough fight. I won that one too. I fought the Swedish number one, and then sparring. I would have sparred with all the best in Ireland. Like Joe Ward, Michael Nevin, all those kind of guys. So yeah, I've definitely been around, and then out here there's some great sparring as well, some top level pros. I'm able to mix it with, like, so it's very good.
Do you think the transition to obviously going over to USA will help you in your pro career? Because like you said, there's a lot more probably seasoned fighters out there that you can go and travel anywhere for good sparring. Do you reckon it will help you in that regard?
Yeah, America is a lot more about the professional boxing, and even the amateurs, they're schooled in a professional way. So it is different, easier to get sparring for sure, and just a lot more bodies and you'll be seeing different looks and different styles of professionals. So yeah, it's definitely will help me improve. Like when I was in Galway, I had great training, but the sparring was hard. Like those one or two people I was able to spar, but that was kind of it. Like you need to be seeing new faces all the time.
Definitely. Two more. I'm going to ask you now your list of boxers from Ireland that inspired you when you were growing up. That's the first one.
Oh. Uh, do I'd have to put Katie Taylor, Michael Conlon in them. Those
Really?
two. Well, yeah, always watching them. I know when I first started boxing, Kenny Egan was the man at the time.
Mm.
So I him a bit as well. Then obviously you have Andy Lee. He was a great professional.
Still my
Um,
coaching as well, isn't he? With Joseph Parker as well.
yeah, he's doing great things as a coach now as well. So. And then I would have watched fighters from all over the world, really, But in Ireland, those would have been the ones I looked at, especially on the amateur circuit, like those guys. So yeah.
I just want to ask you as well. I know it's kind of split now in Ireland, but kind of, are you a fan of Conor McGregor?
Um, I think I was never a big fan, but I think he's a great businessman, and he's
Yeah,
kind of doing things outside which a lot of people mightn't really take notice of, but it's important because a lot of fighters, and just from my dealings with people, you see a lot of fighters come out of this game with nothing, you know, or what they do have, they squander it. If you look at Mike Tyson, for example, how much did he have and he went bankrupt, So Conor McGregor is a good business head, so I like that about him. He made his money and he invested it and he did the right things with it. And yeah, he's I suppose he's just living his best life, isn't he? So
yeah,
yeah, like he is, and like he made the sacrifices, and he obviously had a great woman behind him helping him do all of that. And to be on the dole and just training full time, it's hard, because there'd be days where you're like, is it worth it? Am I gonna get anything out of it? And he had that vision, that dream, and he kept going, and he made it. So
he did. He did. Final one. Aims and aspirations in the sport. What would you like to achieve before you kind of put them gloves down?
uh obviously being a world champion. Um Again, there's a like that's something like I was saying about when I retired. I'd be an old man in my rocking chair and I'll just that'll be a memory I have of I was a world champion, so that's one. And obviously get out of the game somewhat financially secure would be would be the ideal goal. Um because obviously I want to have a family in the future and all that, and then my family now, I want to be able to take care of them, and the biggest thing is come out healthy. That's the most important. But yeah, definitely world champion and hopefully make a few since I'm over here, I'll say make a few dollars while I'm at it.
Definitely. Do you want to quickly plug the fight on the Galway homecoming? The date, tickets still available. I think they come out today. Am I right?
Oh, so they were yeah, it was a while, but they got delivered yesterday actually. I will have them, or my family, sorry, will have them either tomorrow or Saturday. It's March 16th. Now a lot of people have put their names down. I'm trying to stay out of it as much to focus on my training, but I'm not sure what's left, like what it's accounted for. But if you just reach out, you can send me a DM and I'll pass it on to my family, and you'll be able to meet them. There'll be tickets available in the few bars in Galway, McGinn's Hop House, and my old amateur club, Celtic Eagles, and then obviously my family will have them too. So yeah, March 16th, definitely a night not to be missed.
Brilliant. Thanks, mate, for this. I really appreciate it. It's brilliant to kind of get to know you, your story, and I look forward to working with you, mate, and hopefully it's great, successful. And I look forward to seeing your career on the rise.
For
Thank you.
sure, my man. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.